Greetings, I'm Moses Ludell and welcome to Night School for Motorcycle Mechanics. Night School is a traditional way for busy working people to learn trade skills. These videos are a way to learn when your schedule or responsibilities limit your spare time. To be clear, Night School for Motorcycle Mechanics is not an accredited school, and there is no diploma or certificate at the end. Instead, I share my experience as a professional automotive and motorcycle mechanic, welder, journalist, book author, classroom instructor, and director of vocational training. Each session is structured much like the adult education courses I taught at Job Corps and Rite of Passage. At both settings, student feedback made me a better instructor. Any questions can be answered at the comments. I work and instruct in an organized way. In each professional role, I valued and relied upon factory service manuals. That is how I present and demonstrate this work, which will help you effectively use service manuals and data. Sessions will cover motorcycle maintenance, repairs, rebuilding, and restoration. For hands-on work, expect close-up details. Video is great for visual learning and clear sequential steps. Each weekly session is long enough for completing a particular phase of the work, yet short enough for you to absorb the steps and methods involved. 10 to 12 minutes per session will fit your busy schedule and leave time for practicing the task yourself. Following the steps on your motorcycle will improve your skills and elevate the results. The sessions begin with the maintenance and service steps found in a shop manual. This starts with an orientation to the motorcycle and identifying the tools needed for various tasks and hands-on service steps. Work progresses from routine maintenance to fully rebuilding each component on the bike. In the sessions, I perform work on a particular make and model motorcycle. You will see firsthand how I keep my motorcycle safe and reliable. These sessions also provide insight into general motorcycle service requirements. I clarify service distinctions between my bikes and other makes and models. Contemporary trends in motorcycle technology will be highlighted. So let's get familiar with the shop and equipment that provide a backdrop for these sessions. It was 60 years ago that I got my first motorcycle-related tools. I started out small, as most people do. It has taken all this time to accumulate a full shop that can accommodate professional-grade work. The tools shown are not the only way you can perform motorcycle work correctly and to a quality level. This can be done with much less, and has been, especially at the do-it-yourself level. So don't be intimidated by tools that look expensive and are beyond your reach now. If you stay with motorcycle mechanics, you may find that over time it's worthwhile to add these tools. In session demonstrations, I will show alternative and improvising tools that can save cost and prevent the need to buy expensive OEM or equivalent tools. The shop's compressor is an R15 Champion unit that fills a 120-gallon tank with a 5-horsepower motor. Output is 23 SCFM at 750 RPM. Regulators drop the shop tank pressure of 150 psi down to 90 or 60 psi depending upon usage. One line is dedicated to this air dryer. This is for spray painting and other chores that require zero moisture in the lines. All electrical wiring is upgraded. This extension cord receptacle uses a 6.3 gauge wire. Breakers are backed up with fuse cutouts. All 220 wiring is 6 gauge. I have one dedicated circuit for 20 amp 110 volt. Here I run 10 gauge wire in steel conduit. The aim with all of this is safety. Beyond that, heavier gauge wiring reduces resistance. Yes, copper wire at this level is more expensive. Aside from better filming angles, getting the work done at this level is so much easier, safer, and more thorough. I added the heavy-duty front chock to make loading easy for one person. This 1,000-pound rated Harbor Freight lift will easily lift a 600-pound motorcycle. The best buy around is this 20-ton H-frame press from Harbor Freight. I added the 20-ton air-over hydraulic jack. We'll use this press a lot in the hands-on sessions. The 3100 PSI Harbor Freight Predator pressure washer has worked out really well. I did change the pump to an upgrade pump unit aftermarket that works substantially better than the original pump. The 6.5 horse Predator engine is bulletproof. Parts cleaning is a chore that is essential for quality work. I have this large 53-gallon parts washing cabinet from Walker that's been in my service since the mid-1990s. The turntable is 1,000-pound capacity and could actually turn a Cummins engine block. It's ideal for motorcycle work. The nozzles are 45 psi powered by a 2-horsepower pump. I set the aqueous solution heat around 160 degrees Fahrenheit. When we get into restoration work, the bead blaster will be valuable. I have a HEPA filter vacuum style attached to the unit to keep the air quality in the shop healthy. I can get everything in this cabinet with the exception of a full frame. There is no end to hand tools, air tools, or any other kind of tools. Just ask my wife. Some tools are new or newer. Some of my tools date back 60+ years. Precision torque wrenches are critical for quality work and keeping an engine on specification. These tools are used throughout my motorcycle work, and you'll see them demonstrated properly. I have every make of tools. Anything of quality works for me. Function and the degree of accuracy are most important. There are many niche tools: hex, Torx, E-type, triple square, Phillips, and JIS Japanese. I like orderly, and you should too. Cabinets work out well and can be purchased over time. We expand our cabinets when our tool assortment expands. Some of these boxes date back 40 years. Cabinets make stowage easier, safer, and much neater. Here's a cabinet for my soft tools, nitrile and other work gloves, and safety items, air tool oil, Permatex, thread locker, and other soft tools can be found here. When shop square footage is limited, one way to compensate is with cabinets and overhead storage racks or movable racks on the floor. I built this workbench. It's very durable and will support a full ton. The stamp top is 1/4 inch thick. Legs are 4-inch square rectangular tubing. The bracing on the bottom is 4-inch angle iron. The wheels are surplus metal, rated at least a ton apiece. I rebuilt vintage iron case, Dynaflow, and Packard Ultramatic transmissions on this bench. The shop has a good assortment of air tools, including impact guns and ratchets. I would emphasize that I started my career with hand tools, including speed handles. Impact guns, impact ratchets, all of those tools require impact sockets. For the most part, these are motorcycle tools or tools I've used on motorcycle work. The Unison, interestingly enough, has been with me since the mid-1970s. I used the Unison for adjusting carburetors on British and Japanese engines. Using the right oil filter wrenches will make a big difference. Disposing of oil and antifreeze is much easier these days. AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, and other places will accept drain oil. I have an excellent catch container. I can stock up on drain oil before I take it to a retail store. Oily rags and shop towels go into this container. This is OSHA approved and worth having. This reduces the risk of fire in your shop. Power fill and pneumatic evacuators save time when removing or transferring fluids. Fire extinguishers are strategically placed around the shop. My shop includes a welding station with fuels and oils present. These are all fire hazards. Use fire extinguishers and make sure they're not outdated. This is another tool set that I've had for half a century. This is a 2-stroke timing set that involves a dial indicator, a magnetic stand, and all of these fixtures that enable timing a 2-stroke engine accurately within thousandths of an inch. This tool dates back to the era of breaker point ignitions. An impact driver is a popular tool for Japanese motorcycles with JIS or cross-head screws. This is a vintage cable looping tool plus a flywheel remover. Here is another version of a flywheel remover, a stainless steel wire tie kit, 2 snap ring pliers, and a very handy strap wrench that I used extensively on British forks and tight-fitting tubes. This is a laser tachometer for clocking shaft speeds and sprocket speeds. Fuel injectors can be cleaned on late model motorcycle engines using this kit from SUR&R. I've used it on diesel and gasoline engines. You can clean injectors with the engine running. This is a vacuum purge and fill system for some motorcycle cooling systems. I use this vacuum and pressure system for bleeding and refilling brakes. The multi-channel chassis ear from Steelman will listen in on engine knocks or any other kind of noise from a motorcycle. More than just a voltmeter, this Klein tool can do insulation resistance tests through wire harnesses. This compact voltmeter is ideal for carrying on board your motorcycle. The inexpensive ignition intensity tool complements the spark gap adjusting tool. Scan tools are very expensive for late model EFI troubleshooting. An oscilloscope, however, is less expensive and provides the opportunity to test individual devices of any kind. There are a multitude of tests I can perform with this oscilloscope. I can run dynamic compression tests on multi-cylinder engines. This tool can also be used to check the condition of a fuel pump with the fuel pump running in the bike. Running fuel injector troubleshooting is also possible, along with alternator and starter motor condition. None of these tests depend on the ECM data stream. Proper thread repair can save considerable expense with motorcycles. Time-cert repairs are permanent. Broken manifold studs are no longer a hassle to remove. This OTC tool is ideal for removing broken studs. Although I prefer a cylinder leak-down test, a cylinder compression check is a fast troubleshooting tool that should be part of every tune-up. I've had the cylinder leak-down tester since 1981. It is the last say on troubleshooting and enables you to find bad rings, bad valves, a blown head gasket, a cracked casting. This is the go-to tool. I invested in this EFI injector cleaning machine to save the cost of replacing injectors. This machine will clean, test, and flow match the volume flow of fuel injectors. Precision outside and inside micrometers are necessary for precision engine work. I've had these tools for 5 decades now. They provide accurate measurement of shafts, crankshafts, inside cylinder bores, and any other measurement necessary. This ring gapper and cylinder hone and brush hones are just some of the engine rebuilding tools I have. I sublet major machine work. I have all kinds of hand and machine tire mounting, balancing, and rim service equipment for motorcycles. My Derek Weaver automatic tire machine will handle wheel and tire assemblies up to 42-inch diameter. I have the adapters for motorcycles that take this machine down to a 9-inch rim. I also have 2 manual tire changers for motorcycles. This is the Weaver W898XS with assist arm. I added the Weaver motorcycle adapters. After 4 decades, this Craftsman grinder is still working. So is this Harbor Freight belt sander, which has come in very handy. Cabinets are ideal for small parts, ignition parts, and items that would otherwise clutter up a shop. For the volume of bandsaw use I get, this Harbor Freight bandsaw has been a home run. This traditional Craftsman drill press has been at my shop since the mid-1990s. With limited shop space, Nexel racks on caster wheels are an excellent way to keep things organized and be able to move the racks around when necessary. Overhead storage is an excellent way to utilize space in a limited square footage shop. These overhead racks are rated 600-pound capacity. I never load them beyond 300 pounds, and when I set them up, I made certain that attachment screws go into the centers of trusses in the ceiling. Session 2 will introduce the main bikes featured in the service demonstrations. We identify motorcycles by manufacturer's descriptions found in a factory service manual. All of the specifications can be found there. Session 2 will help you understand terminology and how to get oriented to service work, parts ordering, and the overall design and performance of a motorcycle.